What did this video cost you today? It cost you a click, right? I mean, you could argue that the information is free, but it still cost you something. Your attention on the thumbnail, your energy to click on the video, and your time. You see, nothing in life comes for free. Everything, both positive and negative, it costs something. So now let me ask you this. What the heck happened the day that you woke up and decided that you were just going to give away the very best of yourself for free to anyone, regardless of how they were treating you? Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, I was a terrible negotiator when it came to things like my time, love, attention, and my energy. There are a lot of great people in this world. However, there are also a lot of toxic people ready to undermine your value. And if you're not careful, you can begin to lower the price of your best qualities in an attempt to regain the attention of someone who, of course you want them in your life, but how low are you willing to go? Compromising everything about yourself might feel better in the moment, but before long, your life is going to feel like a downward spiral into hell. So before you go making a deal with the devil, grab that bottle of nail polish and let's talk. They say the strongest negotiator is the person who's willing to walk away. The worst time for you to begin negotiating your value is after the other person has already left. I know that in those vulnerable moments during a breakup, you can get lost in a confusing, anxious panic that's telling you that you were the one who wasn't up to snuff and you were the one who wasn't good enough in the relationship, and that's why you are the one who's being discarded. But backpedaling on your own personal boundaries and what you always said you would never put up with is a dangerous game. And now the stakes are even higher because now your anxious mindset is willing to put too much on the line in order to get this person back. It no longer becomes about making healthy compromises. No, now you're negotiating things like your self-respect and your dignity in order to save the relationship. It's like making a deal with the devil. You will do anything to get what you want right now. But in the big picture, you're going to regret making that deal. Because hey, maybe you get the relationship back, but now they know they can pull whatever BS they want, and they do not have to take your feelings into consideration when it comes to their decision-making process. Too many stories about avoidants who discard an anxious partner or a partner who's now becoming anxious because they're being discarded. But then the anxious person negotiates themselves down to agreeing to say yes to a nightmare-fueling let's still be friends situation, or even worse, a friends with benefits situationship. Time to become a better negotiator for yourself. And while you're at it, it's also time to learn what a true friendship is. Don't let anyone, a friend or a romantic interest, use you to fill in the gaps of their schedule simply because they don't feel like being alone. One of the ways to spot this is either when you're with them or you're not with them, but you are reflecting on your time together. You have this weird gut feeling that you could have been any warm body. They don't ask a lot about you, and they don't remember things that you have told them. They tend to repeat stories because they don't remember the experience of telling you that story and then experiencing your reaction to that story. You see, people who care about us, they care what we think about them. So they pay attention to the things that they're telling us, and they definitely pay attention to how we respond. And I know when you first start dating someone who's an avoidant and maybe you haven't realized it yet, They are masters of maybe allowing some feelings to show and showing you that they are super into you, or at the very least acting like they are super into you. But you have to ask yourself, is this still the way that they are treating you right now in this moment in time? Or is it only you who have been reaching out, trying to keep contact, and asking them how they've been doing without any of these thoughtful gestures being reciprocated? It's so important that you don't get lost in the confusion of the memory of how they used to treat you, and you stay focused on how they are treating you right now. Think about it like this. If you think about how you're being treated right now, and you had to put a value on this crappy behavior, how much would you be willing to negotiate for it? You gonna offer up a year of your life to someone who can't even text you and ask you how your day is going? You gonna sleep with someone who gets cold afterwards and pulls away for 2 weeks at a time? You are getting a raw deal. The problem is, your avoidant will always have it all over you because they have no problem walking away. And that's when your value begins to hit the floor, because they've convinced themselves that they don't need anybody. And trust me, people who don't care what they stand to lose, they're not going to be the winners. It's my opinion that the only right way to negotiate your value after a breakup has already happened is through remaining strong and silent in no contact. That way, people who have left you, they have the oxygen and the time and the memories. They can think about all the wonderful things that you did have to offer during the relationship. And a lot of times in my videos, I tell you that these things like boundaries and letting people go and standing up for ourselves, these are practices that maybe we start with people that we're not so emotionally fueled over. And if you want to learn little ways that I practice dealing with flaky or disrespectful people, I'll go ahead and link a video down below. It's called Reward Their Disrespect with Your Absence. It's funny how when you learn relationship dynamics, you begin to see them everywhere, and not just in romantic settings or in friendships, but sometimes in really odd places. And in a weird way, it kind of shows you little things that you might be doing that you're totally unaware of when it comes to negotiating your value when you go out into the dating world. For example, there's a thrift store app that I really like, but it is all about negotiations. Okay, let's say there's an item that, okay, I have a little interest in, I think it's okay, but I hit that seller with a totally insulting offer. I'm only giving them like 30 or 40% of what they're asking for it. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way they're going to accept this. This is completely insulting, and they're definitely going to want more from me. But then, when they actually accept my total clown shoe of an offer, I think to myself, wow, I really thought this item was worth more, but they must not think that it's worth very much. Why? What's wrong with it? I mean, I thought this item looked pretty good, but welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also have to take care of the inner half. Because if we do not value ourselves, then we will be the ones who end up getting shortchanged, even though it was the other person who doesn't have very much to offer. But as much as we all like a good deal, when I'm on that app and every now and again I see something that really catches my interest, I don't clown around. I pay exactly what the other person is asking for because I'm not willing to risk losing it to someone else. Whatever you do, please do not continue to negotiate yourself down after the other person has already showed you who they really are and left. Because I promise you, when you get through this, and you will get through this, and you look back, The hardest thing to live with is not going to be the memory of how they treated you during the breakup. And I understand that it would seem that way because when you love someone and they're treating you like crap, it's hard to process and it's hard to deal with. But in the big picture, the hardest thing to live with is knowing that by sticking around, you agreed to it. I could sit up here on this channel and go through all of the bad behavior that my terrible exes ever inflicted upon me, but if you asked me, Maria, who was it that hurt you the most? I'd have to say it was me, because I'm the person who decided to put up with all of their crappy behavior for far too long. But I have since learned that with people, the negotiation process starts before a relationship has ever transpired, because in life, everything costs something. If someone wants your kind and respectful attention, they're going to have to treat you with some respect. If they want you to meet them out somewhere or places that they're excited to go, well, they're going to have to go places that you want to go too. And if they want to continue sleeping with you, well, I guess they're going to have to continue to be your actual boyfriend. So before you go getting anxious and making a deal with the devil, just calm down, take a deep breath, and wait a hot minute. If this video helped you, so will this one. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting The Other Half.